Now,
next guest coming
Ann
in.
always tells me if I can see the guest, that means they can hear what I'm saying. I want to preface this intro by saying to Carlos that we've never had Ryan and Jerry and Sean, the three guys who work on the show, never more excited for a guest on this program than you.
Excited.
Carlos,
Wow.
I'm telling you. Carlos, listen, you may know him from Reno 911, where he's Garcia. Rocco from Rocco, it's Rocco's Modern Life. Mr. Crocker and the Fairly Odd Parents. I'm fine. Ryan, by the way, was looking through your IMDb page and went, he's Spyro? Oh, my God.
Yeah, no, my girlfriend
the OG.
loves Spyro.
Carlos Alazraqui's here. Carlos.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah, watch out for Nasty Nordic. Apparently drives people crazy.
Okay. You can see Ryan. Now look at Ryan. Now this.
Oh, my God. That's
We've
awesome.
never seen Ryan,
That
our
is
producer,
so awesome.
like this, Carlos.
Yeah.
He's been freaking out. And Jerry also, when they started going through the IMDb page, they're like, why didn't you tell us he did all these? I'm like, I sent the bio to you guys, but man, once they dug deep, man, they're just so excited.
That was so good. Yeah, Nasty Nordic is toast. Yeah, it's fun. I'll be in Pasadena this Sunday for the Pasadena Comic-Con. I think Tom Kenny's going, so that line is going to be huge.
The SpongeBob one, yeah.
Yeah, with some Fairly Odd Parents folks, Butch Hartman, the creator, Darren Norris, Suzanne Blakesley, Gray Delisle, and myself. I don't think we have Tara Strong, but yeah, going to these cons is a really great reminder that people dig the stuff that you do. I got to say that my biggest, funnest moment this year in LA is I know the actor Jesse Plemons. I know his work.
Oh,
He's,
yeah.
Friday Night Lights, Killers of the Flower Moon, and yada, yada. I'm in the gym, and I walked up to him one day, and I said, hey, I'm a big fan. You're excellent. And a couple of months goes by. He's working out. I asked him about a scene he did with a friend of mine from Friday Night Lights. Oh. And he says, oh, yeah, I remember that guy. And he goes, oh, and by the way, Reno 911. And I was like, oh, my God.
That's the best.
He knows what I do. He knows Kramer. He knows what I do.
And that's what I know. This baseball. That's unbelievable. Now, listen, I'm a giant, massive, and I text you this. I'm a massive Family Guy fan, and you were Mr. Weed. So Family Guy, to me, see that I went nuts because I know you from as Mr. Weed, but these guys were going absolute bizarre. So,
my childhood.
Yeah, it is. It's really, you can be altruistic and sound like it doesn't mean anything. But when people come up to you and say, hey, when I was a child or when I was in the hospital or overseas or whatever, and this cartoon or this show helped me, you're like, yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. Yeah. It's a pretty amazing thing.
Now, absolutely. So, now, we'll get on to, I see behind you hanging there's a towel that says San Francisco, ladies and gentlemen, over there. And
the other side is Denver Broncos. This was 2010 in London, England. We went on a trip to meet our friends there and announced that we were pregnant with our first child. Oh, and my friend is a big Florida Gators fan, so he got us tickets to see Tebow play the 49ers in Wembley that day. And so it's a San Francisco scarf on one side, Broncos, £10. Can't do any better, £10. So I bought this scarf and I have it.
Oh man, the word Tebow still upsets me because of the loss of the Steelers. As a Steeler fan,
the Steelers,
one completion in overtime, game over. So
game over.
Yeah, a game over. So Jimmy Vaccaro just popped his head in here and told us that the line on the San Francisco-Detroit game has moved to 7.5. So that's a big jump here in Vegas, right?
That's because Debo showed up to practice yesterday.
Okay,
literally.
Exactly. Yeah, I thought you said Tebow for a second. I was like, Tebow.
Yeah.
Tebow showed
up.
Yeah.
Tebow Samuel. What a hybrid.
So how are you feeling this weekend, and where are you watching the game? So the con, you're not going to be doing the signings during the game.
I'll be, the con goes till 5. It probably will slow down till 4. Kickoff, I believe, is 3:30. So I'm at least going to catch the second half, if not at least the last quarter.
Right.
I'm kind of better that way. I got really nervous the last game. Obviously, I do a show with Tom McClain, our buddy, and Steph Sanchez, who does the best Nick Bosa impression. Check out Stephanie Sanchez on any of her handles.
She does the best what impression?
The best Nick Bosa.
Oh, Nick Bosa. Oh, God.
Steph 49K is her Twitter. Okay. She does all kinds of shows. Her Bosa is, we're just gonna get the team hyped up for this weekend, and it's eerie. It's bad. Okay. But we said on our show the other day, we do a show for the PSF Professional Sports Fan app, and I said it was incorrect about Detroit. I said 24-10. I think even though it's not going to be rainy, I believe, like they do in soccer, LAFC. They're going to wet down the field because Detroit is a dome field. I'm telling you, they're going to pregame wet down that field because the 49ers now have the right cleats after 7 quarters. Right. Golf outdoors on the road, not as good. You know, they remind me of the best show on turf, the Lions, but I think our defense finally shows up. Ambry Thomas can't possibly play any worse, knock on wood. I think our pass rush flushes Goff to the left, makes him go to left, not stand in the center of the pocket. And I think our run game gets going, and I think Purdy has a better game. So I say 24-10 San Francisco, but I'm nervous.
All right, you're taking the Niners and the under. All right, just for everyone wondering. Now, if they go to the Super Bowl, it's played right down the street from here. It's about 6 miles from us here at Allegiant.
I went to a game.
Oh, okay, there you go. Now, if they go to the Super Bowl, is this like a goal for you to get to the Super Bowl to see them play, or have you seen them play in the Super Bowl? I don't know.
No, it's not a goal. I'd rather watch it at home. I went to Allegiant to see the Jets game this year. It was a lot of fun. My friend is a big Raiders fan. My brother's a Rams fan. But I loved Allegiant. I stayed at the Hampton Inn on Tropicana on the right side of the bridge. So I just popped right over through that lovely neighborhood. It was okay.
Right past the Hustler and right
yeah, and I was fine. Yeah, I have a membership there. Great hamburgers. But no, I liked Allegiant. I would not go. I think it would be too much of a zoo. The prices would be through the roof. I'd rather watch it at home. I'm going to a Super Bowl party. So hopefully it will be the Niners against God. And that's somebody asked me today. Pick your poison. If you get past the Lions, you want Mahomes or you want Jackson? I got to say, I want Jackson over Mahomes because Mahomes has always beaten us. And Jackson still has that thing that he needs to prove. Jackson is the Steve Young of the NFL, although he didn't have a Montana that preceded him. He had Trent Dilfer.
Right.
And Flacco, who won Super Bowls, I guess.
Yeah, he won one.
Dilfer was for Tampa Bay. I'm sorry. But
I always get it mixed up. I always get it mixed up too. Yes, exactly.
Flacco.
Right, exactly.
So, yes, I would love to see the 49ers play the Ravens in a rematch. I just think, man, Mahomes is evil. You just don't want to play that guy.
Yeah.
And if there is a team that can beat him, it's the Ravens at home with that defense. They're pretty sound. So, and listen, Detroit are my good friend Rob Paulson, the voice of Yakko, Animaniacs. Oh yeah. Mark Chang on Fairly Odd Parents, many other voices. Jose and
Jerry's just dropped his head and he just went, oh my God, he's losing his mind. Yeah.
Rob is a huge Detroit citizen. So Red Wings, Lions. I will be disappointed. However, you got to love that story for Detroit and Campbell, who played on an 0-16 team. Keegan-Michael Key is another Lions fan. So, yes, if there's a team we have to lose to, if it must go that way, let it be the Lions. And, of course, I would root for the Lions against
Did you
Ravens
see what happened at the Red Wings game last night? The crowd just broke into a Jared Goff chant during the Red Wings game. Awesome. So if you're telling me Detroit's not fired up for their going, Jared Goff, I mean, they're ready to go, man. I understand what you're saying. I mean, look, as a Steeler fan, we have 6 Super Bowl rings. The Niners have 5. So do I want to see them get to 6 and ties with the Patriots? But if you're playing the Ravens, I'll root for you to win 6. I can't see Baltimore. I don't want to see Baltimore win.
You don't want to see old Ozzie Newsome have success.
No, and listen, I grew up the Niners. I loved the Niners as a kid because Joe Montana was from the area. But I like Dwight Hicks, Ronnie Law.
Yeah, I met Dwight.
And you wrote me that you met Ray Wershing, who I had his football card, and I loved Ray Wershing was the kicker.
Yep.
And you met Dwight Hicks. So who are some of the Niners you met that really left an impression? Because you go back to the John Brody days, as you were saying. You're
John Brody keys our stadium. Yeah, Ted Kwolek. Then we lived for Shriver as the quarterback. Scott Bull was one of our quarterbacks. But my brother was a Ram fan, and so he was my big brother. I was Jack Snow. I was a Ram fan, and then my dad started liking John Brody and the Niners, and I jumped ship. But the only two that I did happen to meet in person were Ray Wershing and Ray Wershing just looked like a bartender. Like, what'll it be? he
was like, a portly gentleman. Yeah, he didn't look like a football player.
He like Crosby, Stills, and Nash looking, you know. He was great. And Dwight Hicks, there's a guy named Robert Albarino who's now back with the Kansas City Chiefs and does all their video productions. Okay. With Nibble, Rob Nibble, the actor, what's his name? And our friend, the handsome guy, Paul Rudd. They're both Chiefs fan. And Albarino did this special that Tom McLean was part of. And so part of that was me recording and Dwight Hicks coming in to interview me about my voiceover career. And I was like, oh my God, it's Dwight Hicks. And he is the nicest, most intelligent, most well-spoken person that I've met in my life, and it was wonderful. It was, you're like a kid when you meet, when they say don't meet your heroes, meet this hero. That was great.
And there was also a guy named Eric Wright, right? Was there another?
Yes, Eric Wright. Carlton Williamson was on that team. Earl Cooper, the tight end, scores the first touchdown against the Bengals. And this is the moment.
Remember that?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I remember that Sports Illustrated cover. I think it was Earl Cooper.
Yeah, he's jumping up and down.
I remember that.
About to spike it.
But anyway, what were you going to say? Sorry.
This is the moment I told my podcast that I wanted to happen, which was 35 years ago today, 1989. We win the Super Bowl. Former quarterback coach Sam Weish is the coach of the Bengals. Bill Walsh wins, runs up to the game after the game and says, "I love you." And Weish says, "I love you too." And I said, I wanted to see that happen with Kyle Shanahan and D'Amico Ryans this year, but that won't happen. That is no longer a possibility. But I thought, wow, that would be a great bookend for former coaches to face each other. But those I love the Harbaugh family. I just love them both.
Yeah, what do you think about him going to the Chargers? That's not in your conference, so that's okay.
We called it on the podcast, and a lot of people assume because of the quarterback Herbert, and Harbaugh likes to groom He did a great job with Kaepernick, by the way, obviously. So I love it. I think LA needs to be relevant. I've been to SoFi twice for Ram games, and it's dominated. It was dominated by Raider fans. It was dominated by 49er fans. And this was after they won a Super Bowl. So the Chargers go. They need that fan base to really get behind him. And I think Harbaugh is that guy. I could see T-shirts. Who has it better than us? Right. Nobody.
And by the way, when you were at SoFi, did you not find it incredibly annoying that it's just they have to have noise on some sort of music?
Constantly.
I sat down and I didn't realize the mariachi band was right behind us. So all of a sudden, the first time out, it was it's like, oh my God, I just want 5 seconds of silence. They wouldn't give it to me.
It is constant.
Before I let you go, Carlos, I have Ryan here, a super fan. Do you have any questions about any cartoons or cartoon voices?
Well, I wanted to point out the Batman shirt. He voiced several characters in Batman video games and shows. Yeah, it's awesome. Do you have a favorite character that you voiced?
By the way, this is Denis Bouanga. He plays for Los Angeles Football Club. He was the leading scorer, I believe, in the MLS last year. He's wonderful. Rocco is nearest and dearest because it was always my first.
He's just so sweet and likable. He's like Winnie the Pooh. He's really nice.
And then Mr. Crocker, because I borrowed from the best. I borrowed from Harry Shearers, Montgomery Burns, Richard Dreyfuss, and Gene Wilder, and turned into Timmy Turner Ferries because he's so out of his mind. Dismiss, mother, girlfriend. I really love my favorite voice, and you sports fans will appreciate this. Exploding Kittens will come out later this year based on the game. They needed an animatronic rat to represent a restaurant from the Bayou. And I said, guys, I've got a voice, and I did Ed Orgeron. So we sound like this when Joe Burrow was good in the first half. We like the way what we're doing on offense. We got to show it up on defense, get ready for the Pat Rash bunches. But I believe in Joe Burrow. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
So I did a voice like that, and that is my proudest new voice. His name is Chorgle. Chorgle the rat.
Carlos, I will look out for that. Listen, these two guys, these are like two little kids over there right now. Jerry, who you can't see on camera, is dying right now.
Oh man,
he's burying his head in his hands. You have no idea. They wanted you to yell fair, which he did it for you.
We needed the fairies for sure. Oh man!
All right, Carlos, home run, man, or touchdown. It's our football Friday. I'll say touchdown. Tom McLean hooked us up. You came on the show.
Yeah,
and I'm so excited for you. These guys will never have another guest that they'll be more excited about, man. So good luck to your Niners, Carlos, and maybe you get a ticket and we see you in Vegas.
Who knows? It could happen.
I love it. All right, and by the way, Carlos, where can everyone find you? Social media?
You know what? At Carlos Alazraqui on Twitter. More on Instagram. At Carlos Alazraqui on TikTok. I do have a website. I don't check it as much, but basically Instagram and TikTok, I'm there. And you can listen every Wednesday. We're still going to do the show. Tom McLean, Steph Sanchez. We do our little pro sports fan app podcast at 4:00 Pacific time. And we go on for half an hour and talk about 49ers football.
Yep. And that's the one we've had Tom McLean on and Sean Salisbury. Obviously, Sean is the one who got us all involved. So, and then I immediately said, you guys need a Niner team. You got to call McLean. And then he brought Carlos in. So, yeah, outstanding, guys. Thank you, Carlos. Good luck to your team.
Thank you.
We'll see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
All right.